sometimes when we hear of something like cerebral palsy, you know, you kind of think like life is hard, life is tough, which it was, Julia.
Oh yeah.
Like, what was life like for you, your family, for Moya-May? Up until, we're going to talk about this in a minute.
Yeah, it's kind of like, as Moya got older, the cerebral palsy kind of got stronger, so our muscles would get tighter. So, obviously, what we were doing when she was younger...
Because it is a condition to do with muscles.
Yes.
Tightening.
Yeah, tightening. Now, obviously, you can have a weak muscle tone or a tight muscle tone. Well, Moya has a tight muscle tone, so it's kind of like she's really, really tight, you know?
Yeah.
So, when the other kind of medicines and other stuff wasn't working anymore, we kind of had to kind of look outside the box of what was going to.
Well, your life every day, like there was an awful lot of massage involved in your day, Moya-May, was there?
Yeah. Like, I'd have to get stretched, I'd have to be pulled apart, put back together again, like, kind of in a way, because I'd be pulled and then stretched, and it would take, and sometimes it'd be very sore, because your muscles would just pop, like, you know, when you get, like, pins and needles, or if your muscle kind of, like, pops kind of, and pops back into place and stuff like that, and I would have to go to loads of appointments and loads of physio, and they'd kind of like they wouldn't like to see me in pain, but sometimes I would end up kind of being in a bit of pain, not, you know. And
this had to happen at school as well?
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to go out of class
for half an hour and do stretching, and like I'd be sitting there and I'd be sitting there joking, laughing, telling them a story about like my class or something that happened or the drama. And I'd be getting stretched. Now, obviously, I'd have a smile face and it'd be great, but I would feel a lot of pain. And Jean and Anne, my SNS, I don't know why I can say that, but they wouldn't like to see me in pain, and it would hurt them to see me in pain as much as it would hurt me and my ma. But you know, things have to be done. You know, you have to lose to gain to, you know, all the stuff. Yeah. But it's life, so I did that for a long time.
But you mentioned there a second ago, Julianne, that you started going, right, because Moya's getting older, you know.
I don't want to be stretched on the floor. Trust me, I was like about 11. I don't think any 11-year-old wants to be sitting there on the floor getting stretched and pulled and bloody, you know, the whole lot, so...
Yeah, because your mum had to help you do everything, like, you know, get changed, go to the toilet, all that kind of stuff. So you started looking at other things. Yeah. And this is where you discovered this.
Yeah, we just seen this online, and we contacted Enable Ireland, was their caring system at that time. And from there, they contacted and we got a trial. Now, it took about a year, maybe.
Can you explain to us what's going on here, Moya-May?
Right, so it's a kind of Electro Body Suit, and has, like, I don't know, electric shocks going through the muscles. Now, they don't hurt, but, like, they have, like, little things here, and it's like
so there's all these
pads.
Yeah.
And they send electric current almost to fire up the muscles.
To like unloose kind of my muscles, because I have tight muscles now. Like my said, you can have like loose tone, but like that would mean like it's very hard to lift your arms, and it'd be so it's kind of the opposite effect where I can lift my arms. I am very like tight, so being able to be like flexible and stuff like that would be very hard for me. But you could be too flexible and then not being able to like lift things or do things. So it's kind of you can have this, but you can have that.
It's amazing. I mean, we're just seeing the footage here of you walking up the stairs. I mean, what impact has this had for you?
It's given me so much independence, and I know that you are just, kids walking up the stairs, great, love that. But to me, it's like I would be able to do that.
There's so much here, and I know for people who are in the cerebral palsy community in Ireland, which isn't a small community, that this is offering a lifeline and hope to them. But of course, it's not being funded by the HSE, which is something that you are asking for, because obviously the suit gets older, and my God, you're something else. Do you know that?
Amazing.
Appreciate that.
You really are.
Moya-May, I tell you what, we'll get you back and you'll be taking my job very shortly.
That'd be great. I'd just sit here waffling, people would be like, all right, she's off again.
I'm not joking. Do you want a summer job? We have to do something.
What was it your teacher said? Just look them in the eyes. But you were just looking at the telly, looking at everything.
I'm just looking at me and my big forehead.
Listen.
Oh, my God.
Don't be so silly.